So this movie's about 90 minutes long. I'd say about 85 of those minutes are spent on the edge of your seat. Hey movie fans, so we just saw A Quiet Place, and we both actually have been really excited for this. I remember when we saw the trailers for this in a couple different movies, audiences would be talking, just kind of having some fun chit-chat before the movie starts, but then as soon as this trailer starts, everyone just shut up and paid attention to the trailer because everyone was so enthralled, and I was like, we gotta see that. So I figured, it's a special occasion, this movie's about family, I thought I'd bring my family in on this review, plus you're the one that really wanted to see this movie. Well, I wanted to see it, but you wanted to see it too. Right. So, what were some of the positives that you liked about A Quiet Place? Because, frankly, there's a lot in this movie. I don't want to be early to the party on this one, but I think A Quiet Place is the best movie of 2018 so far that I've seen.
No, I was definitely going to agree with you.
So, before I cut you off again, what are some of the positives that you thought with A Quiet Place?
All the actors working really well together. That was probably top notch.
What was it about them this time around that you really were drawn in by?
Well, there's only a few main characters, so I feel like they really took the time to focus on the particular family, that particular situation, just their daily life and what they go through.
So, for those of you that have missed the trailers in this, A Quiet Place basically focuses on this family that have to live without making a sound. So basically, they don't really go into what happens, which is kind of a good thing, but there's these creatures that hunt you if they hear you. So this family, in an interesting way, they go about their daily lives almost in almost complete silence. They sign language to each other.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which was something that we really enjoyed, was their day-to-day life, but without sound. So what were some of the aspects that you really liked without the sound in their daily lives? I mean,
well, they used their resources wisely. Just anything that was soft or anything that was easy for them to use to not make noise, they would do it. In the trailer, I would mention, there's the scene, and we see it in the movie, where two of the kids are playing a board game, and they just use different pieces that aren't from the board game, like little soft cotton balls or anything that is just very light.
It's cool of, like, they really try their best to live almost what the most normal life that they can live in these horrible situations, or like they don't have plates, they use things of lettuce, or they only eat what they can find, and I noticed that they're eating fish, but nothing like crunchy or fried, because
I didn't really think about that.
Because noise, and it was really cool. And going back to the human characters involved in this, it's basically just a cast of 4 throughout the whole movie. Right. Everyone brings their A game in this, and this movie isn't so much a horror movie as it is a family story. It's more or less one family trying to survive, and it's so well done. But you and I both talked about how one of the absolute standout characters, well, besides everyone, is the daughter in this. What about her really stood out to you in particular?
Well, you've told me that she's deaf in real life, so I think that helped with the movie, and it helped with her character. She's very, I would say she's brave. She's strong with her, because she can't communicate using her words as much. She can do anything that her parents want her to, and she just tries her best and everything.
The communication in this is really well done because you can't speak, so the family communicates in other ways, which is a credit to the actors of you feel everything that they're saying without them saying it. Like, their facial expressions tell fantastic stories, which, without going too much into spoilers, I was not expecting the level of emotion that we got in this. Like, I was just kind of expecting a fun suspense quasi-horror, but this was family drama with suspenseful elements, which I was not expecting at all. One of the things that really drew us into the film and kind of made us curious to see it when we first saw the trailers was that one of the stars of the film, John Krasinski from The Office, is actually the director of the film as well. And his direction in this is fantastic. This is a not only well executed movie, but it's very well directed. All the performances are awesome. The camera work is awesome. It's very still. It's very atmospheric. You and I were holding our breaths for a lot of this movie because the cinematography's good, but the sound design. Krasinski understands that one of the most vital pieces for suspenseful and intense scenes can be sound. So, what really stood out to you about the sound design in particular?
Well, there were certain parts, I'm not going to say what, that I could, there's sound, you hear it, it's coming, you think it's going to be a jump scare, but then it's something else, usually relating back to the family and their situation and what's going on immediately. There was one part that was kind of, it was a little gruesome, not too bad, that I honestly couldn't watch because I would hear something and I turned away because I thought it was going to be something really bad or something painful.
There's a lot of uneasiness more than anything else. And you really are uncomfortable because they've built up these characters so much that you care about them and genuinely do not want anything to happen to them. More so than any other horror movie or suspenseful movie we've seen in a long time. You feel for these characters. You want all of them to survive because they feel human.
Right.
Like, they're some of the most human and relatable characters I've seen in a long time. So, Heather, something that stood out to me with their humanity, and after this we'll segue into our very few negatives, but with the humanity, there's some great interpersonal relationships. So is there anything to those relationships that really stood out to you, or a particular relationship that stood out?
There's a couple. There's, again, I'm not going to say much detail, but between the husband and the wife, they had a really special bond, and the way that they communicated really was effective towards the story. And also, there were a lot of different ones. Another one I really liked was the husband and then the daughter. That was probably... Wow, it was intense, but it was supposed to be like they had a good relationship, but then, you just have to see the rest. But
it feels like a genuine relationship.
Yes, it's like a real father-daughter type of relationship.
And I think part of the magic with, you said, the husband and the wife, I think a lot that has to do with the actual marriage of those two characters being John Krasinski and his real-life wife, Emily Blunt. They work incredibly well together. Now, I said I had some minor negatives, and this is like super nitpicking here because this movie is so good.
It really is.
But there's a couple scenes that happen that the more I thought about them, the more they kind of didn't make sense of... Kind of the rule is if you make a sound, then they hunt you, they'll know where you're at. They kind of play that a little fast and loose at times of, is there like a certain decibel level that you're not allowed to cross?
Yeah.
Or however else, or just certain scenes that I was like, wait. But other than that, this movie's incredibly well paced as well. That this movie flew by.
It really did.
It was... not so much a fast-paced, but well-paced movie. I thoroughly enjoyed this. And is there any other positives that you want to throw out there?
I was just going to kind of recap a little bit, but this was one thing. This was my first horror film in the theater. So I was excited, but I was nervous because I'm like, I like them. I have a specific kind. And this actually met my expectations on what I like and what I was kind of hoping for. And it was better than I thought, really.
It also met the type of movies that you like, not in horror movies either, with family dramas.
Family, just connections between people. When people have good relationships, or even just when people are willing to communicate with each other. Like, I think that I like real, strong stories.
And this is a strong story told in a unique and entertaining way. I will be seeing this movie again and again.
Yes.
This is something spectacular. And I think we've agreed on the rating for this one. I think we can confidently say that A Quiet Place proudly has earned a 9 out of 10.
Oh.
This is easily the best movie I personally, and Heather as well, has seen in 2018.
Yes.
This is awesome. Wow, I need to see this again and again. Well, what do you guys think about A Quiet Place? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you see and you want to see more, subscribe to the channel, or find me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at Uncharted Media. Stay sharp, movie guys and gals!